Viewers out there, we welcome you to Matters of the Moment. And as usual, you know that I'm yours sincerely, the Radio Sako JP. And in our studio today, under the auspices of Megalpoint TV, we have a very distinguished fellow. Once lived in Italy, but right now is in the UK and is present before us today for another interview, a very classical one indeed. So let us hear from Mr. Martins Agbonlahor. Mr. Martins, you're welcome to our studio. My pleasure. Let us go to the question, because there are some pertinent things that I want to ask you. For the fact that we are opportune to have you today in our studio, it's something that we have to, take very seriously, because we don't know when next you come again. Okay. So on that note, it will interest our viewers too to know that the same man that we spoke to 4 years ago is here again with so many other important things to share with us again. And we'll be glad that you tell us so many things that concerns your life, your experiences, and the happenings today. That's why we call it Matters of the Moment. So, Mr. Martins, the last time I called you Professor Martins Agbonlahor, and you undermined that. I think you are going there now. You are getting closer there. Thank you. So we expect that that name, that professorship that we gave you then was not for a joke. We know that soon you will obviously, I'm humble. Yes, be that which that we had already told you before. Many thanks. So anyway, let us ask you some a few questions so that our viewers will really know who this man is. Can you please introduce yourself briefly? My name is Martins Agbonlahor. I think that's sufficient. Yeah, that's all. I'm an author. That's all. I'm a lawyer as well, because by the virtue of the fact that I have an LLB, I also have a master's degree in criminal justice. I'm just a cool gentleman. Academically, how many feathers do you have now in terms of the books that you've written? How many feathers? Yes, feathers. Yeah. How many books have you written? That's what I intend to say. Yeah, this is the fourth one now. The fourth one. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. The feather is still, the cap is still. They're talking about the feathers to my cap. Yes. They are not congested yet, so there's still room for some to be pricked on it. So I'm contemplating also releasing another novel. That will be next year. I think I'm going to bring it here so that you guys also. We can have it. Let us look at this. Oh. Killing Them Softly. It sounds like a musical composition. I see. So thank you very much. Thank you. Yes. Okay, let's go ahead to the point. The book we're talking about, now, Killing Them Softly, we have it here now. Viewers, you can see. I think this should be the best of all your novels. How did you come to write a novel dwelling on women's rights? How? Exactly. Something that prompted you to do so. Exactly. And can you please take us on this very interesting journey? Exactly. Thank you. Well, first of all, this is not the best of my novels, because the best of my novel has not yet been written. Because if I choose, how do you mean, please? Okay. If I choose between my novels, that would be undermining my innate creativity, and I don't want to do that. It's like choosing amongst your children. This is the best amongst my children. I don't do that. What I believe is my best novel is yet to be written. So let us keep our fingers crossed, waiting for the best novel to come. Meanwhile, I went into writing this in 2011, by February. What actually prompted me was that I was watching a clip in YouTube where a girl, a Nigerian girl, was interviewing Professor Wole Soyinka, a Nobel laureate. Yeah. Now, she asked him, quote unquote, "Sir, why is it that the literature scene in Nigeria is dominated by male? Why not female? What are the females doing? So I'm feeling it because I'm a woman and it's all dominated by male. What's the problem?" And Soyinka, Professor Soyinka answered, telling her that of course he himself is surprised, because obviously women are supposed to write because they witness discrimination in Nigeria. They are disenfranchised in Nigeria. Most of them are raped. So he said, these are ingredients for a good book. So women, you should write it. I can answer that one. And of course, when I saw this one, it kind of triggered my journalistic instinct, because as a journalist, I'm trained to have a nose for the news. I'm trained to be on my mental toes. And when any item is newsworthy, I'm trained to know how to go about it. And from that moment, I took it upon myself to be the avant-garde for Nigerian women, since they are unable to do so, to be their mouthpiece, to fight for them. And that's how I began my research that have resulted in this book. I went to Nigeria thrice. I interviewed, yes. Interesting, yes. Yeah, sure. I interviewed university students and graduates. I interviewed market women. I also interviewed people in the street.
You know, so my experience, what I got, I actually noticed that women in Nigeria, they are disenfranchised. And there are a lot of stream of innuendos that are thrown against women, as you will notice in this book. You know, it is my genuine, sincere effort that resulted in this book called Killing Them Softly. However, sir, Killing Them Softly is a kind of fiction. It is not just fiction or not fiction. This is called social science fiction. It deals with society. It looks critically at anthropology, you know, telling us, you know, what is going on in society, the government.
Mr. Martins, you are taking us very far.
Yeah, I'm going to cut
quite an interesting moment. I have a
now.
question anyway, as soon as you finish that.
Yeah,
okay, go ahead. Yes.
Give me some latitude, I beg.
Of course you
Okay. Now, my social science is dealing with social science. So social science fiction will be a fiction dealing with society, you know, examining anthropology, looking at our social and political hypocrisy, and making sense of it all. That's the result of my novel.
You have done beautifully well. Of course, we've been going through on my own internet. I've tried to investigate on my own to see to which extent this book has gone. And I'm overwhelmed that it's going very, very much viral. Compliments, Mr. Martins Agbonlahor. And motto, it will consider the make chauvinistic tendencies that we have in Nigeria. And now you are a Nigerian male, and you are writing the book of this nation. Don't you think some men will look at you as if, what kind of man is this that is so concerned about the women, palaver, and etc.? Tell me something about that. Yeah.
Well, exactly. If any man is having that view, that man is a chauvinist. I am a feminist. I believe in women's rights, and I think I'm entitled to fight for them, to be their voice. That is the result of my novel. So no man, any man who is saying that that man is selfish, that man is chauvinistic, that man is
self-centered.
Exactly, it's a woman's hater. Not at all. If men have rights in Nigeria, women should have rights as well. There are a lot of rights that women do not have, that men tend to have. For instance, a woman, even recent research I did, I noticed that women, if they choose to be feminists, not to have children, for instance, there are still some innuendos thrown against them. But a man can choose to be a bachelor for life and nothing happens.
It boils on the fact that we have this mentality that when in a family there is barrenness, the people will consider that it is from the woman.
Exactly.
They don't consider that the man too could be important.
Exactly. What I'm saying in essence is that there are situations where women, barren women, they are even stoned in our streets. They are nicknamed witches, you know, they ate their unborn children. They are stoned in the streets. But let's look at it the other way. The opposite of a witch is a wizard. So we have male wizard in Nigeria. Let us be frank. Have you seen any male wizard being whipped in the streets in Nigeria? No. So this is what we are talking about. This sense of hatred against women, chauvinism against women, it should stop.
But I think the pendulum actually is, you know, to the side of the women mostly because they consider, I don't know how it is, how it came about. Perhaps there's something more to it, and I think we rely on you to investigate. In your next novel, you should be able to tell us something important. Yeah. I hope that we can eradicate that, at least, or curb it.
Okay.
Let us put it at that. Okay, let's go to the second question. I hope you are still energetic to, you are prepared mentally to answer many questions that I have for you, Mr. Martins. Can you tell us your writing process? What do you do before writing? Are you a longhand writer? How do you go about it? Well, because we have about 365, what was it? How many? 338 pages here. So, Mr. Martins, tell us.
First of all, I have the misfortune of being a longhand writer. Okay? It's very, very difficult because what I do, I write pen on paper as longhand, then I transfer. It's very laborious. I have to transfer it, everything I've written, to the screen. It's very, very laborious.
Which of course takes you more time then? So
yeah, it takes me more time. But the good part of it is that as I'm transferring to the screen, what I'm transferring to the screen has been proofread, has been edited, so that what goes to the screen is excellent. That is why sometimes when you read my work, you hardly find typographical or grammatical error. Because that thing has been done at the embryonic stage of my writing. These things have been corrected. It's very, very difficult, you know. But I would have preferred to be somebody writing directly to the screen, you know, like Isabel Allende and other writers who write directly to the screen, or like my host here, who would write stories on this brain as well.
Thank you very
much. But unfortunately, I'm not. But I'm content, with my style of writing.
But you have editors too that go through your works, and so what are their duties? They don't nothing to do about it at all?
Exactly. Yeah. But I
But you still pay?
Yeah, so I do. But I did it at this embryonic stage of writing. So you were talking about my writing process. What do I do before I start writing?
Of course.
I don't want to forget that one.
Okay.
When I want to start to write, I go into my library. I have a 3-bedroom flat. One of them is my study. I call it an intellectual room or intellectual study. That's what I call it. When I get there, I ensure that all the lights are switched off, because I need a peace, so I'm able to create something. My family, they don't disturb me, because if they do, I'm going to lose focus. As you know, writing is a spontaneous outburst of creativity, which must not be hindered. So for that one, I begin to, write my work. I keep myself, and then I also engage in what I call an edifying process of intellectual release. What does this one mean? It means I do communicate with my forefathers, my ancestors. I communicate with them before I start to write, urging them to give me the skill,
inspiration,
to give me inspiration, to give me energy, to be able to engage or embark on the intellectual voyage which I'm going to do. And how do I do this one? I do this by pouring out libation, with kola nuts, and pouring libation, to the spirit of my forefathers. Having done this one, I also give thanks, and I call on our king, the Oba of Benin. I say Oba Atokbe, I say that one, because we believe that the Oba of Benin is the owner of all lands from Benin City to the Americas. After giving thanks, then I settle down, I visualize, then I begin to see the torrents, or huge torrents of tsunami of emotion, tsunami of creativity, ideas pouring over me, and I begin to write.
Interesting. So actually, from what you've just said, it appears that your area, what you actually believe on, or believe in as a man, as an entity, is on the issue of ancestral belief, and you believe pouring libation, and calling on your forefathers to intervene or intercede for you. Can you please throw a little bit light on this? What do you mean?
I think I've just answered that question. But
yes, I want you to repeat it again, because I am trying to pursue an angle that you do not know.
Okay, so. I think the angle that you're trying to pursue, I just want to assume it. The angle you're trying to pursue, you are thinking that people might see it weird. Yes, that's it. People, exactly. Read that and say, what is this guy doing? It's weird. People might say it like that. Am I right? People might think it is weird what I'm doing, this thing I'm doing before I read, before I write.
Because now, our today tells us that
it is weird.
Yes.
Good. Now, if you say it is weird, then it is unfortunate, because people have different ways of calling for infinite intelligence to guide them. This is my own. Where I come from, the United Kingdom, we have as one of the pillars of democracy respect, fundamental respect for people's religion. In other words, people have right to choose a religion. This religion I've chosen, it should not be denigrated. It should not be abused. I love it.
It should not be undermined.
It should not be undermined. This is what I do. And come to think of it, the other writers who are doing the same thing. Let us talk of James Joyce. Let us talk of James Joyce, who was a brilliant writer. He's dead now. James Joyce, before he begins to write, he goes into a pub, he drinks and becomes soaked. Not just drinking, but he becomes inebriated. So much that when he goes home, he's zigzagging his way home. And people came to him and say, "Sir, are you all right?" He said, "Yes, I know what I'm doing." He's drunk.
Are you sure he knows what he's doing?
Dead drunk. He goes into his study, locks his room, and comes out with a bestseller. The second person is Gabriel Garcia Marquez, the author of 100 Years of Solitude. He won a Nobel Prize. When he was writing that book, when he had an idea for that book, he was driving to a place called Acapulco in Mexico. And that's how they just came. He turned his car, he reversed his car, and I'm sorry to say this, he went to a tobacconist and bought not 6 packs, 7 packets, but 7 packs of cigarettes. There's 70. Took it to his library, locked the door, smoked, and wrote, and it came out with that book, which is a bestseller. Then we also have Isabel Allende. She has one of his rooms, which she calls a casita. That casita is adorned.
A sanctuary.
It's adorned with effigies of spirits. She communicates with them before she writes. So the essence, the nitty-gritty of this is that we are communicating with our readers. Does your readers, do they appreciate your book? Are you able to write from your heart to their heart? Are you able to vibrate on equal frequency, as radio journalists will say, with your writers? If you're able to do that, so be it.
So that is to say you are towing the path of these people.
Yeah, they don't, this is mine. They have theirs.
They have theirs.
They
Okay.
have theirs.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Martins. Okay. Let us go to the next question. I can see that you are very prepared to answer many of these questions, and thank you too for going into details, telling us on how you go about your preparation before you come out with your masterpiece. So let us go again to the third question. What would you say to people who would consider your writing process as weird? We said something like that. Yes.
Thank you.
Or strange. You just answered that. Okay. They should consider you in that manner too and accept you the way it is. And perhaps that is where too you get your inspiration from to come up with books that are interesting, and especially when it comes to the women's rights. So I think you are inspired, so to say. Okay. Let us move ahead. Can you read out? I've read this book too. Can you read out any section from your new novel which you think is captivating in terms of quote and etc.?
Oh. Sure. I think I would like to go to the prologue.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you have something there?
Yes, the prologue. I said, now, Martha Clifford is speaking, because Martha Clifford happened to be the protagonist of this novel.
Okay.
It is through her that we see what is happening now. She's saying, just as no one is an island, I urge you to look at the world we are living in and judge for yourself. Many wicked and obnoxious unwritten laws are being pronounced every second against women, folk, even as I write. I have seen my own kind overpowered and crushed simply because we aired our views or stood to be counted as equal. Men make the law, but we bear the brunt when such law goes awry. Can't you see what parts of Mother India have become in their disrespect and maltreatment of the woman? A country which used to be after my heart, she has almost metamorphosed into a den of rapacious rapists, where anything in a skirt, sarong, or stilettos is seen as a potential object of sexual assault.
So to say, in brief, this is exactly what the book entails.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that this disrespect of women, when women are treated as trash in India, it also happened in Nigeria.
Of course, okay.
And the worst thing is that there are certain sections of the Nigeria penal codes and constitution that actually support this battery, this dehumanization of women.
How do you make? Can you please
Section 282,
take us into that? Yes.
Section 282, subsection 2 of the Nigeria penal code states that there is no amount of beating, correction that a man will inflict on the wife that could be called crime, insofar as he is using that one to correct the wife.
That is terrible anyway.
So in that
can that be expunged from your point of view?
Yeah. So
from our constitution.
Yeah, exactly. So in that sense, most men actually batter their wife. They practice what they call spousal abuse, hiding under the cloak of this
article, section.
Of this article. And there's another one which says that sexual intercourse with a woman is not rape, insofar as that woman has raised poverty. No.
But without a consent, that is rape, I guess.
Exactly. But the Nigeria Penal Code says that the woman has reached poverty, so it's your wife, so you can do anything. But
it depends on the interpretation, I guess.
But they forget to state the age of property, which is 13 or 14. Because they know that if they state the age of 14 or 13, they will be stoned. So in other words, there are sections of in our constitution that debase women. So these sections got to be jettisoned overboard. They got to be cancelled. Women should be embraced. They are part of us. During my research, I went to Nigeria. I taught 3 villages. Could you believe that even up to the present time, I'm talking of a few years ago, women, widows, whose husband had died, that the women are forced to swear an oath with the body of the husband. Exactly. That they didn't partake in the death of their husband. Most women, they do go to the village, you see all these things actually happening. But what of women?
We are aware too that they drink from the water that you know, they used in you know,
bathing the body.
bathing the
Yeah,
body.
they do. But let us look at this conversely. What if a woman dies? Have you seen any husband go to swear? No.
Not at all. They believe that the death of a woman is natural, except
But you see what I thank you for you are reading my thoughts.
of course, yes.
You see what I mean? So this issue must actually stop. Look at FGM, female genital mutilation, because circumcision. What is the reason for that? They said it's to curtail the women's excesses. Why don't you curtail men's excesses? So these are things we've got to look about and really fight for the deliverance and liberation of women. Because women, they are in chains in Nigeria. They are entangled.
From the look of things, Mr. Martins Agbonlahor, it appears that your concern towards redefining the life and image of women in our society is very, very tasking.
Yeah.
And looking at it from the point of view that you have to go first to preach your gospel, so that the constitution too should be amended in a manner that will favor the women. From the two citations that you've just made, it is enshrined there explicitly that this is how it is. How can we remedy that? How do we go about that? Because it is already a promulgated constitution that has to remain. So how do we tackle that if we have to go to that? How many the strength you have to gather for you to go about it?
Yeah, we should confront the government. The feminine groups should spring up, confront the government. Tell them this is not good. But it's going to be very, very difficult because they call this in culture. And remember, culture and tradition is stronger than the law. It's even stronger than God. So what we have to do is to come with one voice, table this in before the government, table section 282 subsection 2 with the government, table other sections of our penal codes with the government, especially where women are debased. So we discuss about it. These sections got to be expunged from the Constitution. If it is not done, we will just be revolving in the cycle.
But we are aware that cultural practices are human. It's an invented thing by you and I. So, but those of us now, let's say that we are here now today, tomorrow, and let's hope, and for posterity, can they come up knowing full well that this very article or the accepted norm in our tradition or culture, requires that women should be undermined? Mr. Martins, don't you think that in this context to culture, that we can do something on our own, and then we now relate to the government that this is what we want in our society, and trying to see if they too would reason along the same line with us, so that we can have a constitution reviewed even without going too far?
Exactly. That's what I've just said. Because there are some groups, there are many feminine groups, women's groups in Nigeria. Their voices are silenced. It is when they actually made them, tell them to remove this thing from our constitution so that women should see the light.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to the next question. What do you actually do at your dull moments?
The question again, sir.
I said, what do you do at your dull moments?
Dull moments. I don't have dull moments. Listen, there is no dull moment for a man who is intellectually awakened. I have my room, chock-a-block, with literature of every kind. So I cannot have no dull moments. I'm always trying to enrich the brain. No dull moments for me. But I suspect what you're talking about is what I do in my spare time. Where, if you're talking about that, of course, I'm a philatelist, a collector of postage stamps, and I also go for walk all the time. That's what I do.
So to say, when you do that too, that is to say that you are still, the brain is still busy, the mind is still active, exactly. And that's it. Exactly. So you don't have dull moments, so to say that.
Yeah, the phrase dull moment is an anathema for me.
Yeah, okay.
I think you're talking of my spare time. I can't have no dull moment. Because there's no dull moments for somebody who is intellectually inclined, not me. I'm intellectually awakened. There cannot be dull moments.
You are always ready.
Yes, I've just
you are prepared.
What to do at my spare time.
Yes, okay.
Your
spare time. Okay, let us. Anyway, it depends on how I've been able to phrase my question, and I think you accept that too. Okay. Anyway, we have so many inspiring writers. We have so many, writers coming up, and they are, performing exceedingly. Mr. Martins, what's your advice to them?
My advice to upcoming writers is that they should not be writing for financial inducement. They shouldn't do that at all. They shouldn't do that at all.
Passion should be involved.
Yeah, they shouldn't write because I want to make money, let me write. Not at all. Because the chances are very, very slim.
How do you mean?
The chances of making this money is very, very slim. It is infinitesimal. It is negligible. It is microscopic. So you don't just do that. You got to write because it satisfies you. It gives you joy that other people are also reading what you've written and sharing the ideas with you. That should be. So don't write because of money. And be ready for rejection. Wole has also been rejected several times.
How do you mean?
It is part of it. Now, when you write your script.
Are you talking about the publishers or the people, the readers?
Yeah. No, I'm talking of when you finish writing your manuscript, you send it to agencies and sometimes to publishers. The agencies sometimes they reject it and say this is not what we need. We get a lot. I've got loads of rejection, but you should not be. You should be determined to continue to write despite your rejection. You know why? Because you are writing for your joy and for the joy of others. So, number one question, because I noticed that most would-be writers say, I want to make money. That is not true. Please write because it gives you joy and it gives others joy. So, in a nutshell, to put what I'm saying succinctly, is don't bother about the pain, don't bother about the strain, but look forward towards the gain. And what is the gain? It could be financial, it could be get finance, or moral satisfaction. What we do is moral satisfaction. Could you believe,
and I think that's what you pursue.
You could have many years ago, writers are actually consulted. Say, sir, what do you think? Because writers, we are the custodians of people's consciences. So they really need to say, sir, how do you see? I think we are future tellers. How do you see the future? So this noble profession should not be denigrated because of a financial inducement. Because financial money doesn't really come if you think you want to be a writer.
So your advice to writers is that they should, write with passion.
That's it.
They should write because they are naturally endowed to do so.
Exactly.
They should go ahead and at the end of the day, history will judge. I think that is correct.
Yeah, thank you. You are reading my thoughts these days. Thank you.
So this very moment takes us to another wonderful question, and I think you are conversant with the happenings in South Africa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and actually it's very, very pathetic. We are sad, and Africa, so to say, and the whole world, they are concerned about this very, very ugly situation that is taking place in South Africa. We are talking about the xenophobic attack. As a writer, can you please tell us something? How do you see about the situation?
First of all, let me just state without missing words. It's a shame of monumental proportions that the South Africans are actually killing Nigerians. It shouldn't be, because during apartheid,
only Nigerians,
not just Nigerians, other Africans as well, but Nigerians in the majority. Because during apartheid, we know how much of our taxpayers' money was spent on South Africa, so that they are able to contain apartheid. So this is actually making me sad. It shouldn't be at all. I think the South Africans, they are venting their anger. They are misdirecting their anger because they are supposed to be angry or fighting against their own government. Because if you look at a place like Alexandria and others, there are slums where there are no infrastructural facilities, no water, no light, no food. So they should hold their government responsible.
Accountable,
because of the government's, the politicians' profligate lifestyle, not attacking people, Nigerians or the common people in the street. But if you want me to go down memory lane,
because actually what ignited the attack, was that a certain somebody, which of course they thought perhaps is a Nigerian, they killed somebody, and because of that, they said, okay, you guys are here, you take our jobs. You do so many illicit things. Our moral values are reduced because of your presence, and these are some of the reasons that they put together, for this attack. So how do you look at it?
I've just said it. They are venting their anger. They are venting their anger against people who are
completely innocent.
Yeah, they should vent their anger against government because their government have failed to deliver the dividend of democracy since apartheid died. They've not been able to do that one. So this idea of name calling, blaming, innuendos and things like that, In 1982, I was about to say that, in Nigeria, in 1982, Shagari, the presidential Shagari, expelled, noticed that he could not carry the country on. Economically, Nigeria has failed. Politically, Nigeria has failed. He began to look for scapegoats. And he, from the blues, attacked Ghanaians and told Ghanaians to leave our country.
The famous
Ghana must go.
Ghana must go.
Exactly. So, in other words, it is the same thing. These people are venting their anger in the wrong way. What I think should be the solution is dialogue, because I believe that dialogue is better than diatribe. But that dialogue should be done now, because I noticed that they are doing that now.
I think that the process is on now.
The dialogue should be now. You know why? Because grief delayed is grief multiplied. So they should do it now, do dialogue, and make sure. If Nigerians, most of them lost their belongings, if they should be compensated, I think the South African government, should do that one. I noticed that most Nigerians actually say, let's go to Lagos and let's also kill them because they kill them. No. You don't pay evil with evil. An eye for an eye makes the world go blind.
Go blind.
So I think dialogue should be used.
Thank you very much. I think I share in your view about the present situation in South Africa. We all wish, hope, and pray that they achieve solutions very quickly. We are very concerned about it. It's painful, it's hurting, and our Africa, so to say, if you look at it now, it's in a very serious problem with the happenings there, and we hope that our governments can be able to come together and resolve this issue ASAP. Thank you very much, Mr. Martins Agbonlahor, for coming to our studio. We are indeed very happy. And more to it is that you've been able to tell us so many things that we do not know. And some of these questions, would have been able to ask you so many questions, but because of time and space, we will cut it at this and hope that very soon when your new book is out, we'll invite you again to our studio for another, captivating moment.
I'm always happy to be with you.
Yes, so we are indeed happy, and on behalf of my crew, under the auspices of Megalpoint, like I said before, our video man, cameraman, and etc. We want to thank you, and we hope that someday we'll see you again. And enjoy your stay in Italy. And this evening we can go up, we can hang out. What do you think? To say something, and okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Martins, and God bless you.